same as summer 2018. Summer 2019, second year of law school was done. I could go anywhere I wanted to for the summer. All second semester I played in Council Bluffs. I could pick somewhere I thought would be even better than Council Bluffs. For the first half of my play, summer 2019, I went to Atlantic City. May 2019 was the most hours I ever played in a month. That doesn't happen. It was 309 hours and change. Doesn't happen without starting off well. So here are the stats to start to May 2019. So stats to start my 2019 summer. Even though it was mostly Atlantic City, it did involve driving from Nebraska to Atlantic City. So for the 3rd and the 4th, I was in Pittsburgh, stopped there for 2 nights. I heard some good things about Rivers Pittsburgh, and you can see by the results, it was awesome. But more important than that, I was really eager, like in all these times, to play a lot of hours. That's the point of this mini-series. I was eager to play a lot of hours, and the conditions made it so that I was able to. That was the run good. You see on the 4th, Rivers Casino. On the 5th, Borgata. So I drove on the 5th. I woke up the morning of the 5th in Pittsburgh, drove to Atlantic City, and still got over 9 hours in that day. Like, it wasn't drive, I'm tired, I'll play 2 hours, then go to sleep. No, I really wanted to play. And the next day, as late as it took to get those 9 hours, the next day on the 6th, woke up, played about 16 hours. I really, really wanted to play a lot of hours and maximize my money, and the conditions were working for me. So, if we look at this entire stretch, my first, the 2 days in Pittsburgh, and then my first 8 in Atlantic City, very good. This was the one, like, $5,000 week I ever had. There is a 7-day stretch in here where I made $5,000, but for this 10-day stretch, $6,435 in about 105 hours. So it was about 10 and a half hours per day, including the day I needed to drive from Pittsburgh to AC, and that's about $61 per hour. But if you want a nice anecdote about this, you see here on the 7th, I played at Borgata towards the end of the day. I mean, the first 4 hours above that were in AC, or were Harrah's AC, and then the other 7.5 of that day were in Borgata. 500 of that was a promo for flopping a royal flush. More on that in a second, face to face with the camera. All right, I forgot to film the royal part when I was outside earlier, so I'll tell you now as I was editing. I raised under the gun in Borgata 1-2 Queen Jack of Spades. There were some calls, of course, it's Atlantic City. Big blind, re-raised. Now we were deep, and a lot of people want to be deep just in case they cooler someone. They don't quite understand how to leverage deep stacks to win without showdown. They also don't understand board coverage. Anyway, this guy 3-bet. Of course I'm behind with Queen Jack, but I could hit. That would be awesome. But I could get him to fold. I thought on any low board, I can get him to fold. He probably just had aces or kings. So I called, anticipating a lot of runouts where I'm going to have to like raise the flop, barrel the turn, call the flop, raise the turn, barrel big on the river, something like that to get him to fold. I had plenty of ways to win the hand. I was in position. I was better than him. We were deep. I had an okay hand. There were a lot of ways I could win that hand. Flop comes out, ace of spades, king of spades, 10 of spades. I flopped a royal. The thing was, Borgata had just went to these weird decks where it wasn't that easy to differentiate the spades from the clubs. You know, they were different colors than the hearts and the diamonds. You know, it was red, it was black. It was tough. There were a lot of drunk people that summer who really thought they had flushes and didn't, which was great because you could beat them in hands that you wouldn't normally. But it would take forever to explain to them that no, you don't have 5 clubs. You have 4 clubs and a spade. They looked so similar. I had to recheck my cards many, many times to really be confident that I had all spades. I knew I flopped a straight and that was going to be good. But to understand that I flopped the royal, to like make sure even if we don't get to showdown, to turn it over for the bonus. So I took about 500 off the guy. He ended up having ace king, by the way. I was actually hoping the whole time he had aces or kings, and we were 1 card away from a bad beat. But he had ace king. He didn't boat up, which would have been a full double through him, like 1,000 deep. I took about 500 off of him in the hand, and then got another 500 before the tip for hitting a royal. So that's the royal flush story. But back to me earlier today outside the movie theater with flies in my face. So again, I was looking to play a ton. It was kind of like bottled up all year. I was playing a lot during the weekends of law school, during like finals, studying for finals and taking finals. Didn't play a ton over winter break, over the holidays. I would go to New York for like a week or 2 weeks. Couldn't play at all in New York, so I wanted to be playing a lot, and I was playing at good games in Council Bluffs. I wanted to play in even better games. I wanted to play in other cities where I heard games were great. I wanted to play more hours than I could. And when the second semester was done, I went to Atlantic City. Great start, even in Pittsburgh on the 2 days before I drove into Atlantic City, and then great start to Atlantic City. That's like a big difference to average, you know, 7.5 hours a day versus 10 hours a day. In any single day, it might not seem like much, but when you're consistently playing a 10-hour day instead of a 7.5, those 2.5 hours add up, especially when things are going well and your hourly is very high. 2.5 hours over long stretches, multiply that by the hourly. You know, you can't just go on your lifetime hourly. You have to base it off of like what's happening in the now. My Atlantic City hourly was higher than my lifetime hourly, so it was more valuable to get hours while I was there in great social fun games with great results than to like care a little more for me like last month in Vegas. Hours in like the summer 2019 in Atlantic City mattered more. They were more valuable than hours in Vegas in May 2023. And remember, rice is a spoon food.